Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Mr. Medium, some Jordan JC in the building. We got a lot to get into on today's episode, man. Chicago Bears have re-signed 5 pieces.
All right.
But some impact pieces that I think could have a little bit more of an impact. We'll talk about some of those today. Take a look at Chris Williams, his impact that he can have on the field, some Daniel Hardy upside, Bill Murray's potential, and then the Bulls finally decide to sit the important people when they can actually make a run at an 8 or 7 spot. All that more today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily.
Right.
Subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. It's just stupid. It's stupid. Anyway, let's start it off. First things first, how you doing, Jordan JC?
Pretty good day. Worked through the work week. Had a nice
little work. Just started actually, so you know.
Not too bad. Let's go ahead and get into these pieces. Are they pieces of garbage or are they actual pieces? Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing about this, right? But Bears go out and re-sign 5 pieces today. They signed Chris Williams, who was a restricted free agent. We don't have numbers on any of these deals yet, which I think is very interesting. But they signed Chris Williams, re-signed him. They also signed some guys who have exclusive rights. So exclusive right free agents, defensive lineman Jonathan Ford, defensive lineman Daniel Hardy, offensive lineman Bill Murray, and DB Amir Speed, all re-signed to the Chicago Bears. 5 pieces that are out there. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your skirts out there. They're depth pieces, right? They're rotational pieces, but I think some of these guys actually could have an interesting role on the Chicago Bears. And the big thing is they're all young guys, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there is some of that upside there that you could see from the Chicago Bears if they were able to actually get on the field. Let's start off with Chris Williams here as the Bears do make these signings. Defensive lineman Chris Williams, to me, he is more of the pure pass rusher kind of guy. Finished last season with 16 solo tackles. He had 3 sacks on the season. So he basically was one of our highest sack players. He had 5 assisted tackles on the season as well. Feels like more of a pass rusher than a run defender, watching his game early on. But listen, with Grady Jarrett coming into the building, he's 6'2", 302 pounds, young piece here. I think that you could possibly see some upside from him, especially with some of the pieces that are going to be placed around him this season. It's going to be a lot easier for a lot of those depth pieces to get not paid attention to not be focused on. And I think that could help Chris Williams, especially as far as that defensive interior. The one thing that I do like about his game that we saw from last season, though, again, he's playing from the interior, 17 pressures last season up the middle on the quarterback. See if we can get those pressure numbers up, not on the field a ton of the time. So it's not like you're looking at these numbers and going, oh, he was a 3-down guy on defense. He wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think that there is something to take away from this and go, maybe there's a little bit more upside with some of the pieces that you have in the building.
I'm not going to lie. I actually do remember Chris Williams. I think his impact will be felt because you do need depth at the end of the day. And we're getting really, really good talent at the start and at the forefront of the defensive interior with Grady Jarrett, with Billings, with Javon Dexter, with Dio Dangbo. And so when you add someone and you bring Chris Williams back, I think he can have an impact. 7 quarterback hits. You mentioned the pressures. You mentioned the sacks. Also, I love the fact that he's healthy. A lot of problems that we had last year with certain people was he that didn't have an issue with him was that he played all 17 games for Chicago. And so that rotational piece is something that a lot of people overlook, but I think it is important. And you can't go wrong with the Chris Williams, who's young. And I think when you pair him up with some of these guys that they have, like a Grady Jarrett, like a like Billings, who can continue to help him mature in his game, continue to develop him, along with the Dan Richard, like I said, not Dan Richard, with a Dennis Allen, you definitely can see that there is some more impact possibly that he can build off these numbers. So I do like the return of Chris Williams.
Now, a name that I do think is going to be exciting for the Chicago Bears this year is somebody who I wanted to see get a little bit more tick, especially in the run game. He was okay in the pass game, but I think in the run game, he really showed some promise. Now, in special teams is where he really showed out. Daniel Hardy, of course, who I'm talking about here, the upside that Daniel Hardy showed last season mostly was on the special teams side of things. And he's one of those players, though, who, like, when I look at Daniel Hardy, First off, I still think that edge job is open, even though you went out there and you signed somebody. If you can show in training camp, very similar to what we saw in training camp last year, very similar to what we saw in some of those preseason games, and dare I say, very similar to what you were able to do on the on special teams when you were out there on the defensive side. There, I think there's a block field goal. I'm sorry, blocked punt in there as well for Daniel Hardy. He's just around the ball. He makes an impact. He finds a way to insert himself in the play whenever he's on the field. That's the one thing that I think when you look at some of the updates and the impact that this defense is going to have, I do wonder, right? Like you mentioned, Dennis Allen. Who's going to be that guy that Dennis Allen gets the most out of, and all of a sudden you look around and you're like, oh, that guy, you kind of saw the intangibles, but you didn't really see the production to go with it. I'm not sitting here telling anybody that Daniel Hardy is an elite pass rusher. But to me, he's a player who constantly finds himself around the ball, 6'3", 240. Like, those are the kind of things where it's like, yeah, but what if he just gets the opportunity? What if he proves himself to Dennis Allen, and now he gets to go out there and try and be that guy? I think Daniel Hardy, as far as upside with everybody that we're talking about on this list, I think Daniel Hardy probably has some of the highest upside of one of these depth pieces that was signed here.
No, Daniel Hardy is my favorite signing of all of these five. And like you said, to be clear, this is we're not talking about any of these guys that are going to have a gargantuan impact on the team, right? They're not going to be starters. They're not going to be people that are going to stand out like some of the bigger names on this defense. However, again, when you're talking about a team, you need your guys in the back of the roster. You need your second and third string guys to be ready to come in and perform at a moment's notice when someone might go down, who have a little bit of upside. And Daniel Hardy has that. He was one of my favorite players to watch, as you mentioned, during the preseason last year. Really stood out, really made a name for himself. I thought that I was like, okay, yeah, this is the guy outside of who's the guy that when Ian Wheeler that really kind of made himself, you know, a name that said, okay, he's sticking around. And then that first game against the Titans, as you mentioned, he blocked the punt and then someone else returned it for a touchdown. And so you felt that impact right away. I felt like that was a really good start. And so I love a Daniel Hardy. I think that he's a really good return signing.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing you got to look at with a lot of these guys, right? You hit the nail on the head. These are not massive, oh my God, we got Daniel Hardy back, right? Like, if we had let Daniel Hardy go, I would have been like, oh, okay, Daniel Hardy's going. Like, no one's going to cry here. But what I do like about this is, right, if you can up that impact. Now, Daniel Hardy, I think, maybe has a little bit more. But you look at Chris Williams, who we were just talking about. If you can up that impact from 3 sacks coming off of the bench to 5 or to 6, right? Now you're talking about, oh, you had Chris Williams as a rotational piece coming in, giving you 6 sacks. Ryan Poles, I think, talked about it best, right? He said, you want waves of defenders coming in on this team. You don't want it to be, you know, just one guy who's the star, and there's kind of these other pieces that come in. You want to continue to be able to, right? If I swap out Grady Jarrett and Montez Sweat is out there and Dio Dangbo is out there, am I supposed to just expect that the middle is not supposed to make an impact on this play? Like, those are the things where, like, when I look at some of these depth pieces, it is about, okay, what can you get on the coaching side of this that's going to get the most out of them? I think both of these guys are prime candidates for that. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below, man. Do you like the potential or the upside of Daniel Hardy? Do you like the impact that Chris Williams possibly could make on this team coming into this second season here with the Chicago Bears for both of those guys? Now, this guy, I'm not going to lie to you, JC.
Oh, boy.
This is a guy who didn't get a ton of opportunity.
No.
He only played in 42 offensive snaps. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
But he looked good when he did it.
Oh.
He looked good. He's one of the few guys from last year.
There's a chance.
He's one of the few guys from last year that actually stuck in my mind. I'm not going to lie. When I saw that the Bears re-signed Bill Murray, there was a part of me that was like, you know, I saw a little something out of him last season. That not going to say it made me tingly, but it was one of those like, hey, man, like I think that you have to what can he really be? Now, the guard positions, he is a guard. The guard positions were locked up primarily by Tevin Jenkins and why am I blanking on Matt Pryor last season, who neither one of those guys is here. You've upgraded the guard position completely. I don't expect Bill Murray to ever be a starter. In fact, I'm not going to lie to you. I hope I don't see him, because if I do see him, that means Joe Tooney is probably hurt, and I don't need that to happen. I need him as healthy as possible. But the one thing that I do like about this is the potential of this young man here. When you talk about a guy who has spent a couple of years in the league already, spent some time in New England, 2 years already in New England. He signed with the Bears in 2023. To me, seeing just him be able to go out there confidently, I think was something different last season. Did fine in the pass block game, did fine in the run block game. It's not a ton of snaps though, right? It's not, hey, every single down, you have to figure this out. I think that's the point that he has to get to. But now he gets that opportunity to learn from Dan Richard, to learn from Joe Thuney, to learn from Jonah Jackson, who's somebody out there as well. 6'4", 307 pounds. PFF grades, take him for what you will. But the one thing I like about Bill Murray is, and I remember this last season just being like, he's the only one out there that doesn't look lost, and he's the one I want to see the least. Maybe I needed to want to see him the most.
You want to see him just a little bit more than 42 snaps.
Well, I didn't want to see him last year because it was like, okay, that means Tevin Jenkins is hurt again, right? It means that Matt Pryor's dead, and that's not the situation you want to get thrown into. But the fact that like when I would see him, I'd be like, all right, he looks solid, but I mean, like Coleman Shelton fell over, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Coleman, get up! Stop singing.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, the fact that we've added on even more talent at the guard positions, we've kind of settled into who we know we're gonna see there. Joe Thuney, then of course Jonah Jackson.
I like
then
how
you got the depth where
Italian H on that mug. Joe Thuney.
I keep doing that, right? Did not do that before, Joe Thuney. Right. What are we gonna do about it? You know?
Where's the gabagoo?
Oh boy! But I mean,
the gabagoo.
But my thing is, I do love a Bill Murray return. Of course, the I always joke that that's a great name for Chicago.
Hey, he's in Chicago. He is Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
You know what I mean?
Come on. But I mean, you did talk about the grades. I mean, if you add on 1,000 more snaps played, these grades would be astronomically good. He'd be the #1 guard in the league because overall pass blocking grade 85.7. That's second in the league amongst guards.
Yes,
and he had the 77.3 run blocking grade. That's 15th amongst 135 guards. And then overall, 82.4, that's 6th. So he's an all-pro just waiting to happen. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, and here's the one thing you can say, and again, you have to extrapolate it out. It has to be like, I don't think we're not doing the per 48s for Cristiano Felicio.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, per 48 or per 36.
He's doing it in Brazil now.
Per 36, Cristiano Felicio would average 29 points a game, 17 rebounds, and 4.5 blocks. And it's like, well, there's a reason he's not playing per 36 because every time D Wade throws a lob up to him, he goes and catches it. But if anybody else throws it to him, he's confused and there's no idea
what's going on. Oh my God.
But the one thing I will give him, and listen, 42 snaps in the NFL, I'm not going to sit here and turn my nose up at it. I know it's not a ton, but no penalties. Which is something that a lot of people, even the people who didn't play a ton, can't say for last year. No sacks allowed, which is something a lot of people. There's 68 sacks back there, and he was attributed none of them. No hits allowed, and no pressures allowed. So, I think this is more of I'm intrigued by the potential of Bill Murray. I'm not sitting here telling you that Bill Murray is going to go out there and all of a sudden become a dog. You know what I mean? But if there's going to be somebody on this team that becomes a dog, Bill Murray would be an interesting one. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Do any of these pieces intrigue you? These were the 3 that intrigued me. Do any of the signings intrigue you? By the way, did see that first from Nicholas Moriano. Who tweeted that out about an hour and a half ago. So let us know in the comments below. Do you like any of the signings? Now, one more thing before we get up out of here. We are going to bring in Stefan Nadon into the building as we got to talk about these Chicago Bulls, man, as we finish this thing. I don't know. Give me a second. And this layout. Stefan Nadon in the building. As listen, the Chicago Bulls get to the final 4 games of the season. They're currently on a 3-game win streak. They look like they are poised to try and take over the 8th seed alone, maybe even the 7th seed. And all of a sudden, there's some chicanery afoot. All of a sudden, Last 4 games of the season. Whoa. We don't want to be playing, guys. Hold on now. As this was tweeted out by Casey Johnson a little bit earlier today, that the Chicago Bulls have some unexpected injuries on the injury list. Nikola Vucevic, questionable injury illness, right calf soreness. Trey Jones, of course, is out.
Ouch.
Kevin Huerter out, right cervical strain.
Okay.
Cervical strain.
All right. Sounds serious.
Josh Giddey out, right flexor carpi ulnaris. I don't know
what the heck is
but
that?
it sounds like he's gonna die.
Fish.
Kobe White out, rest.
Yeah.
Guys,
I'm expecting a fine. So
guys. Well, listen, no, Kobe. I mean, you can rest players like.
I mean, yeah.
But my problem here is that once again, the Chicago Bulls fail to pick a direction. Once again, the Chicago Bulls you're all in. We're going for it. We're trying last 4 games. We're gonna get a high pick here, or we're F the high pick, I should say. We're gonna go out there and we're gonna get the 8th seed, and we're gonna be a playoff team. Only have to win 1 win to get in the playoffs. Here we go. And we're going to rest everybody in a game where Donovan Mitchell also is out, but the Cavs are 7-0 without Donovan Mitchell on the court.
I mean, they got a lot of other good players.
Ridiculously good team. Boys, is this actual injuries that we should be checking out here for the Chicago Bulls, or is this the Bulls yet again just proving even when it's going well, let's be stupid?
Nah, this is for sure. Even when it's going well, let's be stupid. Kobe White just had a 37-point game. Like,
might be tired. He might be tired from that game.
Been putting up 30 points every day.
Like he's been doing that every night. He's got 2 back-to-back players of the month.
Yep.
Like you gotta
players of the week. He got player of the month. He had 3 back-to-back players of the week.
So I mean, the whole thing now is you wanted these guys to get the experience, and in the words of Remember the Titans, you gotta let the young boys play. You gotta let the boys play.
Let them play, Coach.
Let them play.
Let them play.
No, I mean, but even then, just looking at the rest of their schedule here, I mean, you got the Cavs. After that, you got the Heat, but you got the Wizards and the Sixers.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Why are they resting guys?
JC, is there any competitive advantage here where maybe, because you're probably going to have to play the Cavs, you don't want to show them what you got working, what you're working with here as the 8th seed heading into this first round. You want to surprise them, Jordan JC.
Let's woo them with who they don't think we have. Yeah, the Chicago Bulls about to be a threat to the Eastern Conference playoffs. Like, come on now. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Let's just act like a big boy organization. Play the guys. Give them more experience. What are you talking about? You want to give them rest and relaxation. Now's not the time for vacations. We're going to be on vacation in a couple weeks after the playoffs start anyway. That's when you get your rest. What'd you say? Josh Giddey had what? Did Carpe Diem disease?
What he had? Kevin Huerter is the weird one. He's got a cervical problem. I didn't even know men had that. We have a cervix. Is that what that is?
Yeah, get that mess out of here. Ulnaris. Sorry, isn't that on the dollar bill? That language or something?
Signal on the
Come on, man. Like we just coming up with diseases and injuries just to get these guys out and sit down. I don't like it. I love to watch the actual game. Now, I will admit, I'm glad that Matas is still playing because I do like to see his development. Maybe Matas can take over tonight.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a complete team. I want to see them continue to win. And if you're taking all these guys out, then, you might not win the game. They've been on a streaker. So I want to see them play.
No, I'm not going to lie to you. I think that's the part that is funniest about this because it's kind of clearly all the young guys are playing. All the young guys that you have, like, you need to see more from, they're all playing. Modest is going to play. Now, what I do like about this is Modest is taking all the shots. All right, young fella, what do you look like? There's nobody else to shoot. Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, Zach Collins.
Get out the way.
Like that, no, that's the lineup you're working with. So I do like the fact that at the end of this season, and maybe that's what this is from Billy Donovan, right? You're trying to rest some of your starters where, whether you gain traction or lose traction at this point, you're in the play-in. It doesn't matter. If you got to play one game, you got to play one game. If you got to play two, you got to play two. It would be nice to only have to play one, I guess, if you're trying to make the playoffs. Maybe they're still not trying to make the playoffs, which this game plan doesn't make sense to me if that is the case. But the one thing that I will say about it that I do find interesting is that if this is the game plan, do you send Modest out there to say, go get as many shots in as you can, find your rhythm, find your groove, because you have to be valuable to us in this playoff series. If it's not you, we're going to have a problem. We got Giddey, we got Kobe. We know that. They got a lot of pieces over there. That's going to be an issue for us. We need you to figure out what this Cleveland Cavaliers team is going to do to you to try and stop you, because you've been the one who, at the end of the season, has played better, but still has some of those rookie inconsistencies in there. That's the only thing from this that I kind of take from it and go, okay, well, maybe this will work out in the Bulls' favor. Maybe this will go the Bulls' way here, where you're getting some experience from Modest in a real game. But again, Donovan Mitchell not playing. I mean, I guess he's going to be guarding. Why can't I think of his name? AJ Hunter. Why am I blanking on this?
You talking about I know you're talking about.
Either way,
he's on the Cavaliers.
On the Cavaliers. Yeah. DeAndre Hunter. I don't know why I went DJ.
I was going to say Daniil, but
I don't know why I went DJ on that. Yeah. But you're going to be guarding DeAndre Hunter more than likely. Like you're going to have a good matchup. The team as a whole is going to have a good matchup. Now, with this many Bulls out, how many Cavs are going to play in the game? That is also a question. Maybe this is going to turn into everybody on the Cavs is out.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be if you're the Cavs right now. You playing Darius Garland? You playing Jared Allen? Are you playing?
I mean, at this point, no.
Not really. They got it locked up.
Suit up, baby. You getting minutes tonight. You gonna work for this check this year.
They might get in a position where they potentially are going to hurt him. I can see the wisdom with the Cavaliers. Like, it's not apples to apples comparisons, because you're talking about the number one team in the Eastern Conference sitting their players. That makes sense because they have the potential to actually go far and maybe even get to the finals. Like that's their potential. Our potential is, oh yay, we made the play-in. Yay, let's maybe try to win a few games, and maybe we get to the next round and get absolutely knocked out. Like they're just over and over and over. So my thing is, yes, even with Modest like developing, I would love for Modest to still be out there with the guys that he's going to be playing with in the future, or going forward in the future. The core that we talked about with a Giddey, with the Kobe, like what does he look like developing with those guys? Not what does he look like developing with Julian Phillips and Dalen. Modest is just going to go out there and take a million shots and not really, maybe not even do it in the flow of the offense. He's just going to try to do him. And so does that really help him in his development, or does that just say, hey, just go out there and have fun? So I don't know.
I think, and I hate bringing this up, but I think this goes back to a couple years back. It was towards the end of the season, and what Pee Wee, I think, had like 40 or
against
something like that.
Pee Wee and Io.
Yeah,
or against Minnesota.
Yeah. It was against Minnesota, because I think Ant was literally the only one that was playing, but. I think it really goes back to, you really want to see, it's like Pat said, you really want to see what Modest has when he's out there by himself, because it's like, okay, look, now you're basically the number one option. You're getting the looks. Like, we're gonna go basically in this game as far as you take us, which I mean I'm not mad at, because he's showing that he's gonna turn out to be a really good player. But I think this is more just to do with, all right, I want to see how deep your bag is when you're not a number one option.
Yeah, and listen, that's really, I think you make a great point there, right? This is not the P. Will situation, because it is Modest has played well throughout the season. He's been an offensive piece. He's had 30-point games already, right? If Modest goes off and cooks the Cavs, whatever strength they're at, we're going to look at it and be like, okay, that's an actual build-on win, especially for him, who, if the Bulls do make the playoffs, let's say find a way to magically get the 7th seed, you're playing the Cavs. right? So it'll be a confidence boost for him in that situation. But you know, it's tough. Listen, when you've got Giddey's questionable, Vooch is questionable, Herter is out, Kobe White is out. Like when you've got those pieces there missing the game, it's an upside. It's an uphill game. No matter what situation is, it's one that now I would expect the Bulls to lose, no matter what 5 that is out there for the Cavs, because the Cavs are an incredibly deep team. And I'll tell you this: if they do find a way to win, look at Modest incredibly different.
Oh yeah.
Like if they do find a way to win, I'm looking at Modest like, hey, brother. I was
Cooper Flag who?
Well, Cooper Flag's
not still Cooper Flag, but you know.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Modest got
them
upside. Modest got upside, bro.
Hey, Modest would have made that shot.
I'm just saying.
I don't understand. I don't understand the leaner. I don't understand the leaner. But you gotta call timeout.
Modest would have made that shot, baby. Hey man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us as always, man. If you're wondering why this is pre-recorded, I do want to let you guys know some changes that are going to be coming here to the Windy City Breeze. So the morning breeze with me and Jordan JC here. Hey, say hi to him.
How's it going, guys?
The morning breeze with me and Jordan JC will still be a live show, but what we're doing here is we're trying to up the quality of the show, and to do that and for scheduling purposes, some of the schedules have gotten confounded. As you see, sometimes we have random people on the show, sometimes just me, sometimes it's Joel, sometimes Ringo just pops in there, he's like, hey, like, get out of here. No, but the scheduling on the show for videos throughout the evening, we're probably going to end up doing those more pre-recorded just for sake of time, and also second baby. So we still will be dropping content. There still will be videos out throughout the day and all of that stuff. There still will be videos in the evening, but it will be probably more of a pre-recorded basis than a live basis. On top of that, though, what is going to be added is on the Thursday show, that show is going to be upgraded immensely, and so we are going to be doing probably a little bit longer format, more than likely still an hour, but probably do a little bit longer on some of those videos, especially if there's a bunch to talk about from the week, where we get everybody in the building in there to talk about it all at once, man. It's going to be a great time. I'm still going to have a ton of fun. That'll be posted on Friday mornings from here on out, so stay tapped in with that as well, that Friday morning video at 7 o'clock, as well as a ton of clips that will be involved in that as well. So stay tuned in with us on all of that, and new show coming soon. We're not going to announce that one just yet, but a new show coming soon. So make sure you get locked in with us on that as well. That is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. And also, got to announce this: tickets have gone on sale because Jordan JC, Stefan Don, the Breeze is doing another draft.
All right.
Thursday, April 24th from 6 p.m. till the final pick is done, and maybe a little bit after, depending on the drinks that we may have in that building. But we're going to be doing it at Ultimate Gaming Experience, just like last time, out in Orland Park, 15633 South 94th Avenue in Orland Park. Make sure to pull up on us out there, man. It is a heck of a lot of fun. We had a great time doing I think we did the Vikings game last time there.
Yeah,
yes.
Did the Vikings watch party there. Bears made it an interesting, it was a very boring game, but it was interesting at the end of the game.
Odell Beckham Jr. Hall of Fame, man.
That is where we heard that Odell Beckham would go into the Hall of Fame. That was a terrible take. But yeah, oh, by the way, who did he say?
Sterling Sharp.
Sterling Sharp, not a Hall of Famer. Not flashy enough, not a Hall of Famer. That was one of the worst things ever. Sterling Sharp now is a Hall of Famer, by the way. But yeah, man. So make sure to pull up on us for the event. We're gonna have that in the comments below. Of course, make sure to tap in with me over on the Chicago Bulls Breeze. Tap in with Joel over on the Chicago Bears Breeze, and a new Breeze show coming soon. Stay tuned in with us because we got something crazy for you. Hey, for Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, it is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Stefan Don in the building as well. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, see red. Go White Sox, and hey, Ringo.
Go Cubs, go.
How about
Go
those
You
Cubs,
doggone
go,
right.
baby?
Those first
Go
place.
How
Cubs,
team.
about
go.
those Dodgers, baby?
Go Cubs.
How
Shut
about
it
those
out.
Dodgers,
Nah,
baby?
nah.
I'm just saying, we're first in the
That
league.
man ain't worn
We're
that Jackie
first. That's all
Robinson
I'm
jersey
saying.
once.
We're first. That's all I want to say.
Jackie jersey coming soon.